Oh, guys, I'm editing this.
All right, for real, real clap. So.
Okay, this is the real clap.
Welcome to another episode of Pillow Talk with Winter Sirens. Today's episode, we'll be talking about where we get our songs from, how we create them, etc. Sarah from the UK submitted this question to us on Instagram, and we're super happy that we have fans from the UK listening to us. At the stage we're at, we love having fans outside the US, so thank you for submitting this question. So, I guess where this music comes from, like how we create as a band, I think it all stems from like what we listen to. I listen to a lot of music. I put on my Skull Candy Crushers and Tune Out All the Noise, and I'll listen to albums all the time. And in that, I will then like find something that like connects with me, and then I try to like learn how an artist creates like that. And sometimes it's like conscious, but I think most of the time it's very subconscious, like where it comes from. So I just like, I think the more you like envelop yourself in a specific thing is where your creativity stems from. So I just listen to all kinds of music, neoclassical, some hip hop, indie rock, folk is where I like heavily sit because I love the stories that people write in those songs. They're very simple songs, but the stories are so great. So for me, I think where I get like new words and new ideas for stories is how other folk artists write their stories. But it does start off with typically me, I'll be driving down the road and I literally will just be sitting there, and all of a sudden I'll just be, for example, I'll have "Please just send me a sign." That's actually what started Send Me a Sign, was I had that idea and I got on my guitar and then I just recorded that. I was like, that just felt so good. So I recorded it on my phone, and then after that, I typically will try to create other parts to it, and I'll have like a draft that I then bring to the band. And that's kind of like where my role begins. I wouldn't say it necessarily ends there, but that's where it starts stemming off to these guys.
For me, we listen to what he brings to us, build off of that. When I write my bass parts, I try to put in a bit of myself and the music that I like, what I want to write, but I also listen really hard to what Mitchell's playing on his guitar and singing, and what the lead guitar is doing and the drums doing, and I try really hard to complement them in each song. I'd say I put in like 25% of myself and what I want to put in there, and then the rest is really how can I complement the rest of the band, because the bass is just a supporting instrument. It's not like the main thing. I want to accent the vocals. I want to accent a really cool lick that the lead guitar plays. Try to just make everything sound better. I think
that's something that I try to do. I feel like alongside Bryson, Byron, I feel like I tend to prefer starting to do things that are kind of a part of my style, but then I always, in certain parts, I really do try to kind of emulate the feelings that I feel about maybe the lyrics that Mitchell is singing, or the mood of the song. An example of that is there's a song that you'll hear at one point called "Great Unknown." I remember there's a lead part there, and I really wanted. They were, the first things I had played, they were like, oh, that doesn't, feel like what we want in the song. So I listened to it again, and I was like, okay, the mood of this song is kind of heading towards that, hopeful future thing for me. I guess the great unknown, and things can be, good. I guess I really wanted to kind of put that into a solo and excitement that comes along with during lead parts on that song. I tried to kind of get there.
Just to make reference to that new song we're working on right now, The Great Unknown. We've been working on that song for quite a bit of time. I think
One of our first songs.
I think we started playing that song 2018. And then we stopped playing it because it just did not feel quite right. And then after Alec joined the band, I think that's when it like really started to shape itself. And I think Alec's part is one of my favorite parts of that song. So once we record that and get it all cleaned up and ready to go and recorded, you can hear his awesome guitar solo. Sexy guitar solo.
Slamming guitar solo.
Slamming!
Slambo. For me, I just listen and whatever comes to mind, I play. That's really that's really what I do. I don't really ever, when we're writing, I don't take into account like, oh, how can I make this sound like a rock song, or how can I make this sound like what I want to. Bryson mentioned that the bass is a supporting instrument. I would argue that everything, even the lead vocals, is a supporting role because it all supports the song. You're hearing Mitchell's voice, and during the solo, you're hearing Alec's guitar and whatever else, but it all comes together to make the song what it needs to be. That was kind of a realization that I had probably 3 or 4 years ago, realizing that I am supporting the song. That it's not really, it's not about how good and impressive the drums are. It's about how good and impressive the song is. And even if, like our song Fish, which is an extremely basic part that I play, totally not my well when it comes to my style, the song turned out great. People love that song. Pretty much how I've done it with every song is just listen to what Mitchell brings us. And the one thing that I do actively pay attention to is definitely the bass, because being in the rhythm section, myself and Bryce and Byron, we have to mesh. We're making sure that what we do, we're on the same page, and it's not detracting from one another, that we are one, that we are the rhythm section. That's like initially what I do. I just kind of listen and then I play, and then for all of us, if it is a song that we decide to keep, we just play and play and play. And throughout the countless times of playing that song together, my part begins to evolve, and I begin to see, like for instance, they mentioned The Great Unknown. There's a part towards the end where Mitchell singing says, "The Great Unknown." And so what I eventually started doing is whenever he says those words, each time he says a word, I'm hitting the snare. That's like already naturally happening. But I ended up pairing that with a cymbal crash. So it's "The Great Unknown," so that it kind of just like the call and answer type thing really accents what's going on. It also helps that pause not be so empty, finding how what I do can make the song what it needs to be. And then from that point, it's just, how does it feel when I'm playing this? How does it feel to me? I mentioned in another video, music to me is all about how it makes me feel. It's the same with our stuff. If it doesn't feel good, I definitely fight against it, and definitely not going to keep my part the same.
All right, guys, thanks for watching this episode on where Winter Sirens grabs our ideas from. And if you have any questions and want to submit them to our videos and to be featured on one of these, comment below here, go to our Instagram or Facebook. And if you haven't heard of our music, you can go to wintersirens.com and find our music there and stream it. We're on all platforms. So again, thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe if you like what you've watched. Hit the notification button too, so when we release a new video, you are ready to go. Anyway, we're Winter Sirens. Have a good day.
That was our rendition of Flight of the Bumblebee.